Hey, ladies and gentlemen, what is going on? This is HD, your friendly neighborhood caster, and I'm here to bring you guys the last and final set that I'll be casting for the IPL4 online qualifiers before I head out to Las Vegas. And my flight is tomorrow at 10 in the morning, so this is definitely going to be the last cast. In fact, this cast will probably be coming up on YouTube around tomorrow. As you guys all know, I cast the day beforehand, before I bring out those videos, because I have to render it and upload it, and my Comcast is dangerously slow. And I say dangerous because sometimes I just want to kill myself, but regardless, this is going to be the last set I do for you guys before I cast live, and we're going to be looking at a really good set here. This is some Code S quality matches. At the top left-hand corner, we do have, sporting the red color, oGs SuperNova. And the reason why I say this is going to be really high quality stuff is because SuperNova currently, I believe, is playing in the 2012 Code S this season. So, you know, and I talk about Code A and Code S all the time. Some of you guys might not know this, so I'll just go ahead and do a quick explanation for you guys. But in Korea, the GSL is pretty much the league, the Premier League that players play in. And Code S is considered to be the highest league, essentially. And to get into Code S, you have to win in Code A the finals, or you have to win in the MLG, and there's other ways to win, the up and down matches and things like that. So very difficult to get into Code S. And you know, Code A, while it's still extremely good, it's still like definitely top 0.01% of players, not quite as good as players in Code S. And so that's like a brief really rundown. Of course, Code A and Code S have their tournaments. It's seasonal. And it's always great fun to watch. But yeah, this is going to be a really good match because the other player is also Code S. We have, not Emblem, it is Losira. And Losira, at one point in his career, won the Code A, got a gold medal, and that's why he was able to obtain Code S. And I think after that, he dropped down in the up and down matches. But regardless, you know, still a very, very good player and known for his aggression. Losira is one of the Zergs that I would say, like July Zerg, like Leenock, very, very aggressive. You never really know what's coming at you, kind of like having a box of chocolates in front of your face. If you, you know, Forrest Gump and a box of chocolates, never know what you're gonna get. So that's something that you really have to watch out for when you're playing against Losira. And we'll have to see what happens. I am Losira, blue Zerg in the bottom left, and at the top left, oGs SuperNova. So it looks like we are going to have a spawning pool and extractor coming out from the Zerg. Losira also did get that hatchery down right away, so he is going to go for the expansion build. It's pretty calm, pretty cookie cutter on this map. This is, of course, Calm Before the Storm, and I said it before. You named the map Calm Before the Storm because, of course, it's a calm. It's like a 10-minute calm before anything really happens. It's like Terminus, it's like Crevasse. It's even better than Terminus and Crevasse, I think, because all the gases are available. There's none of that, you know, only one gas going on. You know, you can expand wherever you want, and plenty of options at that. Looks like the Terran also taking the liberty to get that command center down right away. He's also going to follow up with reactored Hellions here as the factory is being built up behind the barracks. The drone was killed off. Poor little drone, never had a chance to even get out. And it's kind of interesting watching Terran versus Zerg, because you always wonder, is a Terran going to let the drone in and then kill it off, thereby not allowing the Zerg the ability to return that drone and get mining? Or is he going to wall it off completely and not allow the scout in? So, kind of a preference thing, really, between Terran players. But we do have a bunker coming up here, a bunker block on that hatchery, but two Zerglings coming out, and most likely that bunker is going to be salvaged. And the SCV, of course, getting focused down first, because you don't want that SCV being able to scout inside the base and relaying vital information back to the Terran world. And will the bunker be salvaged? It will be. Very early salvage right there. I think he could have delayed a little bit more, but he does have to salvage it, and he will. And we'll see. I'm surprised Losira hasn't grabbed the third yet. You know, on this map, I said it before, I'll say it again, you really want to expand rapidly, take as many bases as possible. It's very easy to defend attacks. We can see Losira getting a spine crawler at the front. So we'll see if he gets that hatchery or not, but we do have SuperNova going for a starport right away, getting cloak upgrade here. And that's kind of interesting. He's doesn't have enough gas to make a Banshee, though. So that is a bit of a blunder, I think, because usually if you're going to go for cloaked banshees, you want to make the first banshee right as soon as cloak starts. That way you can make a second banshee when cloak is halfway done, and when cloak finishes, you have 2 banshees on the map, and you can attack with both right away. Unfortunately for him, that's not the case. Only has 1. He just started it. And so he's only gonna have 1 banshee up by the time cloak finishes, and we'll have to see what he does with that. The Zergling that ran up the ramp was not able to see the starport, so right now the Zerg is really in the dark. He's also got to deal with these Hellions that are at the front door, which are doing a really good job of just keeping the Zerg back. I do like what Losira is doing though. He's invested in an Evo chamber to cut off the choke. He's added an additional spine crawler. But what SuperNova is really doing here is he's just forcing the Zerg to commit. This is really genius if you think about it. He's forcing the Zerg to commit and think about all these Hellions. He's making him commit into spine crawlers, and then voila, all of a sudden, a Banshee's going to come into his base, and the Banshee was not caught by the Overlord. The Overlord just being a little bit too easterly, and the Banshee is now ready to go. As soon as Cloak finishes, Cloak is done. 1 Hellion died there. And will the Banshee be revealed? Yes, it will. It picked off the drone as it was trying to make the 3rd hatchery. So that 3rd is so delayed right now, and it doesn't really even look like the lair is close to being done. And that is bad news because this Banshee is going to be able to get a lot of drone kills. SuperNova opting not to go for the Spore Crawler, going to kill off the drones rather, and he's going to pick off 6 drones, 7 drones. Yes, he will. Got to tell. He's got to make sure to micro the Banshee to pick off drones as well. That does take a lot of attention. Because if you just leave it on auto attack, eventually the Banshee's going to attack some huge structure like a queen or the lair. And eventually the Overseer does come out and the Banshee gets killed off. So all in all, not a bad ploy. But remember, guys, he did invest in Cloak, and I would like to see our Terran player get a couple more drone kills. I think right now it's kind of a break-even point. He got about 6 or 7 drones, but remember, he invested in 2 Banshees and Cloak and a quick starport. All of that could have been more bio upgrades, it could have been more barracks, it could have been another command center. And right now, he still has that secondary Banshee, but he hasn't really been able to eke out any value out of it. So we'll see what he does. Making his way over to the right now to check for another hatchery. Of course, the Zerg doesn't even have the 3rd yet. So that's one thing that's really going good for SuperNova. He's got more bases. In fact, his 3rd is already done. And now making that switch into the bio that is so popular, we can see another factory also being added on as well. So he's going to have good tank production, has a double engineering bay already down too. And would not be surprised to see him get a ton of Marines out. Stim pack +1 weapons also on the way. And that's very good. Meanwhile, the Cloak Banshee trying to come back over to the bottom of the natural, but it's flying over the Spore Crawler, and it will be picked off by that Spore. That was very careless by SuperNova, kind of throwing away his Banshee needlessly. Almost as if to say he doesn't need it, but I think it was more of a blunder if anything. Overseer comes in here just to get a full scout to see what's going on, but was denied by those Marines. Oh no, it dropped the Changeling off, so this Changeling could get cute with it. Meanwhile, on the upgrade tab, we do have Infestor Energy upgrade on the way, +1, +2, and there is a double medevac drop coming to the Zerg 3rd, or should I say, yeah, well, it should be the natural, but it is the 3rd because he grabbed it so much later, and the Marines have dropped off. The drones are forced to scurry away. The Hellions at the front, meanwhile, roasting up some more tumors, but the real threat is inside the Zerg base. And where are the warriors for Losira? He has nothing. He just has Zerglings and Queens, and he's gonna lose the hatchery. Wasn't even able to get down there for a transfusion. Not like he had the energy to transfuse anyways, but this is looking really, really bad. What is he making right now? Oh, he's trying to go for Infestors, and the timing really of these 2 medevacs just caught him off guard. It was perfect. Well played by SuperNova. And that just shows you the instincts that these pro gamers really have. Getting in there, doing the damage they need to do right before those Infestors hit. And it looks like the 2 medevacs will also make their way scot-free as well. Well done by SuperNova. Losira right now really on the back foot. He's got to do something. He's trying to get Hive up. And he's only on 2 bases. Remember, guys, he just lost one of his bases again, so now it's 2 to 3 bases, and he's trying to get up to Hive. He's going to be really gas-starved to get the units he needs to get. I'm actually really shocked that he has almost 1,000 gas saved up, considering he made so many Infestors. So apparently he got a lot of gas mined out of these 2 extractors before the hatchery died, but still, I still think he's going to be pretty gas-starved. At the very least, his upgrades are neck and neck with the Terran player. 2-2. He's actually ahead right now of the Terran player in the armor department, so that's kind of nice. And we'll see what happens here. It looks like Losira going to potentially go for a flank or some type of a backstab. That is what he needs to do now, try to buy some time, put the Terran's attention away from that attack, that dangerous, deadly attack, and back on the defense. And we have these Zerglings running in here now. They do have decent upgrades. 2-1, they're going to be able to kill off that tank, and the bunker is under trouble as well, but that bunker really getting a lot of value, able to kill off a ton of Zerglings before it goes down. Well done by SuperNova, and with the reinforcements coming down the ramp and the medevacs, I think we should be able to clean this up, and wow, cute. There it is, Losira burrowing the Zerglings underground just to protect them and maybe being annoying at a later date. There's also a ninja command center at the top right-hand corner. SuperNova now on 4 bases, trying to drop some Hellions off, but the Zerglings already there. And well defended by Losira, but Losira really is playing this game where he's the defender. He hasn't really been able to make moves happen except for this attack, which really didn't do much at all. We'll see if it does though when he unburrows the Zerglings, but really at the end of the day, Losira has to figure it out, and he's gonna come in here. Nice attack by Losira, great fungal growth. Oh my god, he just killed off all the Marines, and now the Zerglings coming out to play. They're gonna be able to clean up the tanks, and that's exactly the break Losira needed, but hold that thought, 4 medevacs, dropping off a ton of Marines and tanks. And all of a sudden, Losira is in a lot of trouble once again. And he just threw away almost all of his forces against that attack. Will he have enough to deflect this now? Adrenal gland not quite done yet. It looks like somehow, some way he was able to eke out all these Zerglings. And he is going to be able to push away that medevac drop, but not before he lost the hatchery. And that's the second time today that he's lost that hatch. Still on 2 bases, our Zerg player is. But I really want to say what a brilliant defense that was. He spitted out infested Terrans first to absorb damage while they were underground, and then coming in with all the Zerglings, and he was surprisingly able to kill off all his Marines and tanks. Nice job. SuperNova, meanwhile, back at home, trying to rebuild, sending his forces back on the offensive. Once again, also dropping. There's a Marauder there, and it should be able to pick off the hatch. It will. No cancel. And wow, this hole gets deeper and deeper for the Zerg player. Nice job by SuperNova. Upgrades, though, looking very solid. So that's the one thing that Losira's got going for him. He's still got a bunch of infestors. Fungal growth is great. And he's going to have 3-3-3. Well, 3-3 and chitinous plating if he gets some ultras out. So basically he's going to be fully upgraded, whereas SuperNova has neglected to get any more upgrades, and that could be SuperNova's undoing. Adrenal gland upgraded Zerglings at full 3-3 are a deadly, deadly thing, and if these Marines, yeah, there we go. If those Marines don't keep up, they could be in a lot of trouble, but there we do see infantry weapons level 3 and armor level 2 on the way. SuperNova, though, even though he is losing the upgrade game, he's still winning in terms of position. He's still got this attack on the edge, on the border of the creep. He's continuing to drop this hatchery, limiting the Zerg on 2 bases. He's essentially partitioned the Zerg off from getting any more bases on the map. And don't forget, he's got the little ninja expansion up here, which he isn't really making much use of. But nevertheless, it is a 4-base Terran to a 3-base Zerg. And not looking good at all for Losira, but like I said, if he can wait for 3-3 to finish, he has this window where he could try to make a huge play happen with fungal growths. If he can micro correctly, I actually think he could crush this Terran army. Surprisingly, this army really isn't as big as you'd think it would be, or it should be. It really isn't. So 3 armor has finished, and it looks like Losira's just going to go right now. He's going to rush in with all the Zerglings. Fungal growth coming down as well, and I think Losira might be able to win the battle here. He gets another fungal growth. No, not going to decide to commit there. Going to pull back and bait the Marines closer and closer, and while he does that, fungal them down to whittle them away, and then pull back into the spine crawlers. So Losira opting not to commit to that attack. I just heard something happening, but I don't know where that was on the map. But yeah, Losira opting not to commit to that attack. And you know, at the end of the day, I really think that the outcome of this game has pretty much been decided now, because eventually those Marines are going to catch up in upgrades. Here comes another attack, though. Can Losira hold on? He gets a great fungal growth. The medevacs are just healing away, but it's not fast enough against these crack upgraded Zerglings. And Losira gonna be able to clean up the attack force once again. I am shocked right now, guys. I am absolutely, utterly shocked. That is how crazy 3-3 Zerglings truly are. The tanks can't even stand up to that attack. And a SuperNova still unable to close out this game. I'm really shocked, but eventually those upgrades will catch up. And 3-3 Marines are also something to be really, really feared of. So eventually that one edge that Losira has is going to pretty much get fallen out of favor, and Losira still has not expanded. He's still on his original 3 bases. He's so cut off from the rest of the world. He's living such a sheltered lifestyle right now. SuperNova should just put him out of his misery, and we'll see if he does or not. Here comes those Zerglings once again. The Marines did just finish their next round of upgrades, and fungal growth coming out. A couple of good fungals, but not enough Zergling units, not enough support for the infestors. And that will probably be all that she wrote, as SuperNova is going to take the first game of this series. A very, very action-packed game. We have more command centers coming up to the top right-hand corner. It really doesn't matter. I think at this point SuperNova can pretty much chalk it up as a W. Just playing kind of safe right now. Doesn't want to commit everything yet. He'll probably wait for some reinforcements. But nice job by SuperNova. Really good job to keep the Zerg at bay, prevent him from expanding at will. And if you think about it, this entire game was all about having those Hellions at the front door, backing it up with more reinforcements, dropping sometimes into the Zerg third, but really the army just continuing to get larger and larger and larger in front of the Zerg base, and the Zerg never did anything about it. On this map, you've got to attack the Terran before he gets up at your natural. In fact, that goes for almost every map, so that wasn't the case there for Losira. But we'll see what happens in game 2. This is pretty exciting stuff. These guys are extremely good. So we'll see what happens, guys. Tune in for game 2. It'll be coming up next on my YouTube channel. This is HD signing out.